Turn on the tape recorder. There we go. Okay. Okay, first, can you state your full name?
Ronald Sonnier.
And what are your parents' names?
My daddy was Dupre, D-U-P-R-E. And my mama was Aline, A-L-I-N-E.
A-L-I-N-E. And where were they from? Were they from Rain?
Daddy was from Lafayette Parish. Mama was from Vermilion Parish. She was from the Leroy community, and Daddy was born in Duso.
And what were their jobs?
Mama was a housewife, and Daddy was a all-field gauger.
Are you married?
I'm married.
What's your wife's name?
Catherine Diane Sonnier.
And how many children do you have?
3 daughters.
You were lucky.
Yeah.
What are their names?
Celeste is the oldest. Adrienne, A-D-R-I-A-N-N-E. And Simone.
Pretty names, too.
Well, thank you, all French.
So you were born in Rain.
Born in Rain.
And you've been here all your life?
All my whole life. Never left.
How old are you?
I'm 63.
63. Let's see. So whenever you were young, what did you want to grow up to be?
Oh, man.
I know I wanted to be an astronaut.
Well, I wanted to be a race car driver. But after I saw that wasn't going to happen, I wanted to be an architect. And that didn't happen either. So I ended up being a banker. And I wanted to be an artist, but I did do that part-time. And I did do drafting, so I pretty much...
So you did get to do a little bit of art.
I got a little bit. I got to do a little bit of it.
So how long were you a banker?
I started in 1967, August of 1967, and I retired about a year and a half ago, and I'm still working part-time, contracting back to the bank.
So where did you go to school at?
Here in Rain High School. I went to St. Joseph's High School, and that was a 12-year school, so I went all 12 years there, and then I attended USL in Lafayette for a short period of time.
What'd you major in?
General business. I knew more than to teach it. I figured I could do it in 2 semesters, but they said no, I had to go 4. So after 2 semesters, I was out of there.
Were you really? Did you finish all your classes?
No, I just flunked out.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if, if you really do need to go to college sometimes.
Well, back then, yeah, it would have been great. But I think today, with so many kids with college degrees that are looking for work, it might be the case where a good trade school, picking up a trade might be just as good. But I think back then in the education period, I was lucky for having the job that I had without a college education. But I surely wish it would have been a lot easier if I'd have had one.
See, were you involved in any sports or music?
I played a little bit of high school football, played tennis. After I became an adult, and I played golf. Music, no, I can't sing. I have a hard time playing the radio. I bought a guitar.
You have a hard time playing the radio?
My wife and my kids bought me a guitar one year, and I took lessons at UL at Gumbo U, and the teacher gave me a can of lighter fluid and a match, and she said I should do Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Set it on fire and play it?
Yeah, no, she didn't tell me that, but that's a joke. I couldn't play it.
I'm about to say, wow.
She didn't tell me that. But just a joke I make.
So are you involved in any civic activities here in Rain?
Not really anymore. I was part of the Rain Lions Club for 30 years, 30 plus years, and when I retired, I just retired from that too. Was part of the Chamber of Commerce for a few years. Let's see, I've been in the American Legion for probably 25 years at least, maybe 30. And I belong
So you've
to...
been very involved.
Yeah, well, I'm not involved. I mean, I've been a member of the American
Yeah.
Legion, but I very seldom go to the meetings. And I'm in, my wife and I, we're members of an antique car club in Lafayette. So,
Well, what kind of cars do you?
well, I just have one. I have a '67 Camaro Super Sport. It was one that we bought. I bought brand new. We went on a honeymoon in it. We brought her to the hospital for when my first daughter was born, and then when my last daughter got married, I brought her to church, and I just finished restoring it. So.
So you like working on them?
Well, oh yeah, it took me 9 years. I took it all apart and put it back together.
That's
yeah.
just like my dad. He takes apart Camaros and he puts them back
Really?
together. He has we have a 78 and a 79.
Camaros?
Yeah, Z28.
Oh wow.
Black one and a blue one.
Really?
That's his thing.
Yeah. No, mine. When I got off of active duty, I needed a car, and that's what I bought. And I had fun in it. I mean, I put 120-some thousand miles. I drove it from 1967 to I think 1980, and then I parked it, and it sat there and rotted away, and then I started restoring it. And it took me 9 years, but it was fun. That was a good stress relief.
I mean, I know how much
Yeah,
my dad
yeah.
enjoys it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were in the military?
Yeah.
What years did you serve?
I was after I flunked out of UL. I was during Vietnam's. It was pretty strong at that point, and I joined the Army Reserves. So I went on active duty in January of '67, and I got out in May of '67. 2 weeks later is when I bought my Camaro. And then, you have a 6-year commitment, weekends and summer camp. So basically, I signed up in August of '66 and got out in August of '72.
Did you like serving in the military?
At the time, no, I really didn't. But I had good times. I mean, we had it was a blast. We always.
Did you get to travel to a bunch of different places?
Well, not really. We took basic like at Fort Polk, and we had AIT was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and went to Red River Arsenal in Arkansas. That was in Oklahoma, I think, and then Fort Chaffee and Albuquerque, Sandia Base in Albuquerque, and Fort Hood, Texas. Most of those were just like for 2-week training. So.
A little bit.
Yeah, I got to see places, but not that much. Albuquerque was a nice place. We had fun up there. It was a pretty country.
So what do you do in your spare time? I know you said you worked on your Camaro.
Well, that's all.
Golf?
Really, this whole past year, I've been remodeling and repainting my house, working on my house. I retired to go to work.
That's how it works out.
Yeah, I can't stay still.
So tell me about living in Rain, growing up.
It
What's
was
like
great.
your earliest
It
memories?
was great. You could go anywhere and not worry about anything. We'd ride our bikes all over town. We had bakeries. We'd ride our bikes to the bakeries, get pastries and chocolate pop. We had, that was when before I could drive. And of course, when we drive, we had a couple of places we could go. We had driving. We had Johnson's Drive-In. All the kids would hang out. We had Gosson's Drive-In. All the kids would hang out there. We had a swimming pool, a municipal pool. We just had a lot of things to do. And to the chagrin of our parents, we had a pool hall that we'd hang out a lot, even before we could drive. And it was just a great town.
You had a bunch of cool places.
Oh yeah, it was really, we had things to do. We'd ride our bikes. We'd play outside. We had a neighborhood I grew up in. We had 5 or 6 boys, and
so there's a bunch of other kids.
yeah, and we'd play all day long, and we had an empty lot. We played sandlot football, baseball. In fact, we still get together. 4 of the boys I grew up with, every year we get together someplace, and because basically, from my neighborhood, 3 boys from my neighborhood married 3 girls from another neighborhood, my wife and 2 of her friends. So we kind of
stay together your whole life.
Yeah, so
much.
I mean, when we get together, the women do their thing, and they all grew up together except one, and the men, we all grew up together except one, it's kind of confusing. The women, there was another friend of theirs who lived on the other side of town, and she was cousins to one of the guys I grew up with. So I mean, we all went to school together, and it was just great. And so now we get together once every summer, and we've been doing that for quite a few years now.
Well, that's good. So how has the downtown area changed since you're younger? So I don't know if there's any pool halls.
We don't have it. No, there's no more pool halls. And there, one thing when you'd come in on Highway 90 from the west, and you'd stay on Highway 90, and you'd get out town on the east side, I want to say there was like 23 bars.
Wow.
Right on the main drag. Now, and there was very few churches. Now you have more churches than you have bars in town. So you don't have really many bars anymore.
So you think that's a bad thing?
No, well, no, it's a good thing. Now it's a good thing. But back then, it was nice to have all the bars when you were young.
Does Rain still have any bars?
Yeah, I really don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I mean, we've just driven through.
Yeah, I don't really know. I haven't been to a bar in probably 40 years in town. But maybe 35 years, let's say. But basically, we had a lot. You didn't have to go anywhere. I mean, you had Mervyn Cones, and that had everything that you
needed. Did you do a lot of shopping there?
Oh yeah, you had Mervyn Cones. You had Wild's department stores. You had 2 or 3 office supplies. You had some ladies' clothing stores. You've had quite a few hardware stores. I mean, we had anything we needed. We had a movie theater.
Oh really? I didn't know there was a movie theater.
Actually, it'd be back on Highway 90, 1 block over. Yeah, it's I really don't know what it is now, but we had that. We had everything we needed. We had furniture stores. And now, I think the last furniture store just closed. Well, no, there's another one on this side of town. You have a hard time finding stuff to buy in town most of the time.
I wonder why it's changed so much.
Well, it started off with Northgate Mall in Lafayette.
That's probably sucked a lot of the business out.
Yeah, and then you had some big theaters, multi-screen theaters that were being built, and you had a big Sears store where the city government is in Lafayette on University. That was a big Sears store, and they had everything you wanted there. And it was easier just to go to Lafayette, go in a big store and get everything in one place, and then the Acadiana Mall. So it's just gotten to the point where it's a 15-20 minute drive to Lafayette, and just over the years, you can't, a little mom and pop can't compete with the big chain stores.